Well, hi, good morning, everyone on YouTube. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful, relaxing Memorial Day weekend. So, with that, I wanted to come back on here for those of you who do not go over on TikTok. There was one video I did live yesterday at the Open Studios that I could not download without glitches. It was just kind of going slow and stopping. And so it seems to be doing okay on TikTok, but because of that, I thought I would present to you a few things that I had talked about in that video. And so for those of you who are new to the channel, we create with all recycled materials, fabrics, and supplies. And it's our way to give the earth a little hug. And if you're coming and joining the community, it's free. So we love your suggestions, your comments. And the last few videos we've been doing relating to exploring different maybe methods, you might call it, with creating with scrap fabrics being influenced by Kawandi and being influenced by Boro. So the last few videos we've been exploring that. That was from a question of a viewer. So, and I thank that viewer. Thank you. And we had a lot of fun with it. So, I will come back around to different ways of creating for sure. So also I want to thank um, that viewer and a few other viewers. Thank you for inquiring about my book. The book, Recycle, Inspire, and Create, was written based on everyone's questions that come to me often, frequently, and repeatedly. And I figure I'd capture it all in a book. And it relates largely to Boro inspired. And we talk about also Kawandi. And I give you contacts in there with Dr. Henry Jewell, who did extensive work with the City Women of India who create authentic Kawandi. So with that, I came back on here this morning because I didn't want you to miss this, because a lot of you are really interested in this saddle blanket that I make for my bears. So, so this is Snowberry. I'm going to just stand her here for a minute. So we're going to be making more bears. And for those of you who are new to the channel, the bears are highly representative and help me make a statement. They do make a statement, actually. When I create them and sell them, I write on a piece of paper that these are not a toy, but they are a collectible, and they are making a statement on how we need to nurture our earth, be kind to our earth, clean our earth, because these polar bears are losing their habitat as we speak. Now, the good news is that if you check in with the Polar Bear Association, you get some information on how they are keeping up to date on the information that the scientists are providing us, and they're studying the environment and studying how they can preserve the environment. So as we go forward into year after year, if that environment keeps warming up, they are finding ways for the polar bear to live and to thrive and to keep going. So with that, when I make the polar bear's saddle blanket, I'm using all scrap fabrics. We're using all scrap fabrics. And I find that even when I get scrap fabrics gifted to me, that I'm thinking, oh, geez, that's not a bright color. That's not typically what I would be scouting for in the thrift shop. I take it because I know that some of these fabrics can be used as batting. They can be used as a back to front um, uh, hem, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. So what we did yesterday is in the video that I was not able to download from TikTok over to YouTube over here. What we did is I took this fabric, and I'm just going to reach over here. This fabric, you remember I was sharing with you that I got this at the thrift shop. So I brought a piece of this with me because there's some smaller pieces. And this is this is Aztec. Now I love Aztec and I'll gravitate towards it. So and the same with butterflies. So what happens is I get a variety of designs of these certain designs that I love. It's just like if I was gravitating towards stripes. You know, I'd have a variety of fabrics with different stripes. And so Aztec flowers and butterflies are my thing. So I started to size this onto the bear, and so we sized it, and then I'm going to take this off here. So then we got the idea, and I was talking to, now for those of you who saw me on TikTok, you know how we put this together. But then I got the idea, and I had found this. This is like an Aztec type, if you can see it. You see? Kind of, it's got circles, so it's a little different, but it kind of even gives you a little Boro. And then I had put it on top, like on top of here, and then just playing around with it. I just wanted to see what the little hem would look like here, and it just popped, right? So then I found this, a more Aztec design, but with different colors. And I just happened to have enough, this one just fell off, to put on both sides. Oh, no, that was just an extra. So I did put it on both sides. And then I was sizing it onto the bear. Now, if you make one, I suggest, oh, and I'll show you this in a minute. If you make one, I suggest you keep a prototype, just for the length and size and kind of how you want it. So now the next steps with this is you want to ask yourself a couple questions. Do you want it to have pockets? You know, and I was thinking that because sometimes I make these bears, many times I'll make them with a little baby bear or a couple of baby bears. Now we had initially, I just want to show you this. We had initially, or I did, just kind of placed this on here. I mean, when you look, you're talking about a statement. Scrap fabrics, raw. Personally, I talk about and really feel to convey the message that nothing and no one is perfect is super duper important. I think it's very important because I think nowadays people, you know, we're in a society where a lot of people put themselves in a state of anxiety trying to be perfect or trying to do everything the way you're supposed to do it, or you're supposed to have this image, which to me is just going way back centuries ago, that kind of peer pressure. But I think it's back. I think it still is in it. So I think the idea that it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to try to get more information. It's okay to keep learning, that you don't know it all at any given stage, basically, is what I'm saying. And having the raw cut like this just reminds me and is very humbling. To me, it's a reflection of our the essence of a human being, and that we are and can be creative, that we are creative by nature. So with this, it just kind of, if you look at it, it just goes like just that one piece. But what I did was I took like I said, I took the Aztec piece and I added it, and then with the idea that this would go on top of that. So that's what we were doing yesterday. And if you look at this, it would try to get you a view. If you look at that, that really, that's very cool. It's so but to be honest, I'm not sure now if this piece, if I start developing this independently, because this, if I put the Aztec up here, I'm really loving that too. Let me turn that. Yeah, that's like, so I'm really, really loving that too. I think, look, in art, right? Sometimes one piece of fabric, it doesn't need any other complements. It doesn't need a contrast. It doesn't need anything else. I think this is one of those. I really do. So I'm going to keep that to the side. But this is what we were doing. And now the other thing about this that I spoke about, and I just want to share with you this morning for those of you who are interested. So, a couple things. I have been um, encouraged, let's say, and asked if I make um, other animals. So the series we're beginning with needle felting, and I really want to begin it this week. There's a lot of things we're beginning this week, and mind you, I'm still in the middle of transition or relocating. So, but the art is super important. I have to have a couple hours a day with this. Um, excuse me. So I'm going to sip my coffee. So, a couple themes of a series. Um, Spirit guides. Okay, I wanted to draw some spirit guides, but I want to needle felt. I want to base it on spirit guides, and I say that because I truly believe a lot of the wildlife that come into our lives and intersect with our time and space, especially in an unusual time and space, at a very maybe difficult or struggling time in your life. I think those are our spirit guides and those are our messengers. So I've had the great blue heron, which I've drawn a lot, and the great white egret, which you don't see typically in Vermont. I've had that in certain times in my life come right smack in front of me. And when they look right at you, that's really eye opening. So I think spirit guides will do, and an endangered species or species maybe. Okay, for example, that there's a certain elephant. There's a number of elephants that are endangered. Okay, there's seals. So we'll do, and penguins. We'll do the penguins. So it's a number, and elephants and llamas. So these are just kind of a few at the top that in the animal kingdom we will be needle felting. We will be needle felting them for the statements of our earth needs to be taken care of and cleaned, and I talk about this in my book. I talk about that, we're not keeping up with the amount put into the landfills every day. We can keep up with it. We can do better. We can create more jobs in that area, more businesses, organizations, awareness platforms, a whole bunch of different types of careers and jobs and businesses can go into that sector of society. And I think, and we need to do it. We should not be filling a landfill with so much garbage every day from thousands of people in the area, and we can't keep up with it. We should figure out a way to keep up with that. Keep the land clean, keep the oceans clean. So these needle felted animals that I will be creating as we go forward, and with the scrap fabrics. Instead of putting these scrap fabrics could be in the landfill right now. And some I'm going to show you don't totally could be in the landfill just because they're not appealing. But we can always figure something to do with them. So anyway, those will be coming, and I'll be bringing you with me as I work and talk to you how I'm working, because some of you may want to jump on board. I am not the type of artist that I feel I have to keep my knowledge and experience and tips and everything I'm learning and thunder and all of that to myself. I am the type of artist and person. I want to very much encourage you to jump on board, find your passion. Maybe you start needle felting wild animals, a certain one maybe you love giraffes, certain whatever it is you love. Or maybe you draw them, or maybe you embroider them. And maybe you put a little book together of what you've done to say, hey, come on, artists, let's get on board with the real deal here and start creating with what's already in front of us. I don't know any other way to say it, right? Look, these are all from the thrift shop. These are from the thrift shop. So, in my new place, I am setting up, and you'll be able to see really good there just how many of things I've gotten like from the thrift shop. So, anyway, now with that said, so this blanket, the saddle blanket, so this is what I want to say. Some people, they'll go out and they'll buy, and we were talking about this a little bit, they'll buy at Joann's Fabrics, and because they're looking for, like, let's say, better quality cotton. Now, in my opinion, the better quality cottons you're going to find from locals who are getting the hand spun cotton rovings, and they're hand spinning it, and they're selling the yarn. The organic yarn is what I'm saying. So that is where I'm gravitating towards. And my friend, where I get this wool, I'm gonna check in with her this week. She, because I'll be going right by her house. So she, as I understand it, she's spinning, or she was trying to spin anyway. Spinning takes a long time, and it is such a special niche. I really want to get a spinning wheel next. I had a friend, family, many years ago. She lent me her spinning wheel, and I'm so glad she did that. She didn't have to do that because that was a very expensive wheel. They're expensive, but I got the feel for the spinning. I caught on very quickly. I loved it because it was repetitive. For me, anything repetitive, much like the, sashiko stitching and, crocheting, anything like that, you can get right in your zone. It's a meditative zone. So she lent that spinning wheel to me. I would love to get another spinning wheel. I gave it back, right? This was many years ago now, but I can still remember how to set it up, basically, to some degree, and I would love to start spinning. So now with that, many of the fabrics you're going to find at the thrift shop, they're not going to be a high quality cotton. And what does that mean? That means there may not be many layers. It may be or wool, for example, may be pressed way down. So it's thin. It's thin. That's what I would say. Whether it's cotton or whether it's wool or silk. If it's not high quality, so it means it's a lighter, you know, not so much of it. So with that said, this piece, I gotta sip this coffee. I'm so glad you're with me for my morning coffee. This piece this is a base. Okay, this is what we call a base. in a Boro because this is a Boro inspired piece, in case I didn't say it. And it is Boro inspired because I am putting little patches on it. Now I'm being strategic about the patches. I really am. And but I realize that this needs a second layer. And it might even need a third layer. In other words, when you have 3 layers, it's quilted. So I feel like I really want to put a batting and an under layer here. So look, I have this, a friend of mine, I don't know, friend of mine, I'm kind of losing track now because some artists are leaving their fabrics, like their scrap fabrics for me. Oh, and this is what I was going to say. So in Joann's, we were talking about this. I don't know if Joann's is closing down completely, but they are closing in Vermont. And so we're losing them in Vermont, which is huge because look, we had AC Moore, which was an art and supply. They didn't really have fabric, but they had art supplies. Well, Joann's Fabrics had art supplies too. And yes, they were for the sewist, but they had art supplies. So they're going away too. Now, AC Moore, us artisans adored. Like, I got a part time job there just to work there, just to be there around other artists. I just had loved that place. And anyway, they closed. So then we here and in this area, I'm talking about this area in Vermont, this area, northern Vermont, they had another art supply store that moved um, from the location of what the Williston location. They've moved to like a Cambridge location, but now I don't think they have supplies. So anyway, we've lost a lot. And so with that said, we were talking, and I said, well, hey, there's a Hobby Lobby that moved in a couple years ago. I don't know if that influenced Joann's to close because the distance, it's quite some distance. It's like 40 minutes away. So now there's a Hobby Lobby and there is fabric in there. So the question was, what quality fabric is it? Are you finding organic fabrics, really high quality cottons and whatnot in there? So we don't know. We need to explore that because Hobby Lobby is like a chain. I'm not sure. I just scared the the birds. They're like, oh, she's coughing. But so yeah, you might have to do a little bit more research and maybe find from some local artisans the organic fabrics you want to use. So with that said, this totally needs um, a batting or a second layer, and I feel like it needs a third layer. So this piece, if you look at it, there's no color to it. It's kind of I don't even know. Yeah, it looks like the underside. It's beige, very light beige, very light material. Look, you can almost see through. You can see through it. So this will be, because it's not highly, it's not like anything I'd want as a top layer. This I will use as a second and third layer, and I will get this saddle blanket quilted. Now, do you sew your design pieces on your base? Or are you taking your quilted pieces and layering them and sewing them all together? So you can do either or. In my opinion, you can do either or. So what I'm going to do, I like to sew my pieces on my base and kind of see where I'm at, kind of give it a full nice design, and then come in and add my batting and my underpiece. So with that, I hope that helps you and encourages you and inspires you to create with your scrap fabrics. And if you are interested in the needle felting and you want me to do more over here, please let me know. Um, and we will do that. And I will be looking. So if you're in Vermont and you're interested in having somebody teach beginning crochet or and creative crochet where you already have a group that has intermediate skills, but they're very used to going by patterns and they want to know how to do creative crochets. I have a bunch of things I can teach. I think my one of my next books is going to be on that because I have found ways to make things that I'm sure are not in any other book by crochet. So, and or needle felting. And so let me know if you are an organization and you're interested in that. And I say primarily locally, but if you're out and about and you're an organization and you're interested, please let me know, and I'm happy to work with you. So I'm putting that out there because I've gotten questions on it. So with that, I hope that you have a beautiful day and have fun with your project. If you're working on a saddle blanket or a small piece that's Boro inspired, let me know. We will be designing this a little more and coming back, and I'll be sharing with you on this this week. So with that, you have an absolutely beautiful day. Love and light.